Alright, let's set the scene. The year is 2008. That two-screen Nintendo thingy turned out to literally print money and was powerful enough to survive a mountain. With this much success, that meant one thing: excessive advertisements. From the Sprouse twins convincing me that they play their DSs on the beach, to yoga mums that probably played brain training to this very day. There was one advertisement, however, that stuck with me. Between watching the kind of shows you likely have watched retrospectives on while you eat food, I was presented with one ad that changed everything. Style Boutique. It had everything: fashion, crunchy 3D graphics, and girl boss energy. But there was one issue. I am a trans girl,
so I wasn't allowed to buy it.
The ads haunted me for years and years. I could never play this one game. The eShop wasn't a thing yet, so I couldn't sneakily buy it with an eShop voucher with a Mario PNG on it. The year is 2022. I've been living as a girl full-time for years at this point, but with the rush of new games and life in general, I admit I forgot about Style Boutique. I often dismissed thoughts of finally trying it due to thinking, well, maybe it's just a shovelware kind of game. This is a video about how I assumed wrong. This franchise is so good. I'm glad after all this time, I finally tried it. So after asking the Style Boutique Reddit which game to play first, most suggested either the original DS game or Styling Star. I bought the first Style Boutique for $4 plus shipping, and before I knew it, it arrived. I remember staring at that box for like 10 minutes, simply processing I was holding the one game I always wanted but could never get in my own hands. It was time. Style Boutique, or Style Savvy in America and Girls Mode in Japan, is a fashion game set in a town obsessed with fashion. You play as a millennial/Gen Z fantasy by owning an apartment and getting a job at a boutique, despite the game stating that you have literally no work experience. Wait, how did you even get that apartment? You start the game as an apprentice. You even get shown the ropes by a co-worker who, by all accounts, is more qualified than you. But when presented with the opportunity to help a customer, you, the protagonist, pick out an outfit so exquisite, so amazing, that you instantly get the job. And within the next hour of the dang game, you now own the Style Boutique. You start as a young adult with no work experience, and suddenly you own an entire clothing store. For unrelated reasons, please look at my resume. So, after likely crushing your co-worker's dreams of a promotion, you are introduced to Dominic. I actually don't know how to say his name. Anyway, the hot rich man that crushed the hearts of thousands of kids playing this in 2008. Oh, and a butler, because fictional European fashion towns have butlers. The game has you select outfits for customers, but unlike the later games, they are strict about what they even want. You might think of the perfect outfit, then you find out you literally ruin their entire day. But when you get the perfect outfit, you feel unstoppable. But the game isn't just picking outfits for the customers. You also get invited to random rich people parties. Like, it's only really just flavor text, but I think it's cute. And I imagine a lot of young girls playing this really enjoyed the idea of being invited to fancy parties. The game also includes options to get your makeup and hair done. I think if you're someone that wants to experiment with fashion in general, this game is worth it, just to mix and match random outfits. It's genuinely like a full budget version of those dress-up games I secretly played on the family computer as a kid. Though, unlike those dress-up games, this game does have a story. Is it complicated? No, but I think it works well enough. The game's progression is tied to fashion contests. which you can do at certain stages of the game. The fashion contests are judged by a character who I can't find the name of while I wrote this. So, let's call her fashion person. Yeah. The fanciest fashion world stereotype to exist. Interesting side note, the Japanese version has this character be assigned male at birth and seems to be a crossdresser. But the English version makes her presumably a cis woman instead. So like, what happens when you win every fashion contest? Heartbreak, my friends. Each contest usually ends with Dominic, that guy, getting his butler to escort you home to your fancy apartment you have somehow. I'm not mad. But this time, he attempts to flirt and backs down. He offers you a ride in his car with romantic implications, but retracts his statement and the game ends.
Thank you so much for to playing my game.
Dominic, why? We were meant to be together. It was meant to be. So, is the game a bit jank? Yes. Are the graphics a bit dated? Yeah. But is the fashion up to date? After all, that's the most important thing, right? Actually, it's kind of up to date. Since Y2K fashion has been becoming a big thing in fashion circles nowadays. So, weirdly enough, the fashion has aged well. Except the leg warmers, maybe. Is this objectively the best game in the series? Definitely not. But it is my favorite. I mean, I basically waited 15 years to even play this game. And it was worth the wait, actually. This game means a lot to me, and it warmed my heart to play as a girl in a time period I didn't get to be myself in. This game was healing for me as a trans girl, but in general, it was just a really fun time. This is probably the easiest game to actually get now, as it was on the original DS, which is a region-free system. So I recommend trying this. Oh, also, it's on the Wii U Virtual... Oh wait, that's going now. Well, that's all. Okay, so this isn't Style Boutique 2. This is simply New Super Style Boutique. I mean, New Style Boutique. So, these games aren't connected directly. So you play as another young adult who also somehow has a nice apartment and becomes an owner of her own boutique. The sequel is very faithful to the last game, but the game is far less picky about what outfits customers like. Customers will more clearly say what they want, which is much more easy and likely less frustrating for people. I really enjoyed the difficulty in the original game, but I think this game is much cozier with this lower difficulty. And, likely more accessible to this game's target demographic. But what is different in this game, other than the obvious jump in graphics due to running on a console that didn't release when I was in preschool? Quite a few things, actually. But first, I want to highlight my favorite mechanic, the happiness jar. Every time you do something fun or happy, you fill a little jar. When you go to sleep, the jar empties. And if you have enough, you unlock new things. But here's the cool part. When you get given the news that you will take over the boutique and run your very own business, the jar fills up completely. I love when games portray emotions through game mechanics. Your main character loves fashion and wants to own a style boutique. So I love this simple way to portray happiness, especially for a silent protagonist. An obvious change with each game is the fashion itself. It's different. This game has more of a 2010s fashion style, but it does contain some early 2000s styles. Also, the metal Visual K brand Mad Jack is now called Stage Dive and has a more generic rocker vibe with less of a Visual K emphasis. New Style Boutique also introduces men's fashion, which I think's really cool. You still can't choose your protagonist's gender, unfortunately, but you can pick out outfits for other male characters. But to be honest, fashion options felt very limited and kind of boring. I mean, yeah, I'm a trans girl, so I'm gonna have a bit of a bias towards men's clothing being uninteresting to me, but you telling me Stage Dive has no cool rocker boy clothes or Marble Lily doesn't have some cool orgy outfits? Or maybe I just missed those. So maybe the men's fashion isn't as exciting, but after being friend zoned by Dominic, or whatever you say, I know what any men likers in the audience is thinking. Can we date men? Only in Japan, as DLC, which you can't get anymore. Because, Nintendo doesn't like preservation. This game features a Japan exclusive DLC, which lets you open a character creator to make your own boyfriend and pose in cute photos. But no, this is a dream, so you can't go on cute dates, but this game is still really great. But where can this series go from here? I mean, there are only 2 more left on this little thing. This is the only one I didn't like. I am so sorry. But they did add the most cool new features. You can be a hairdresser and do people's makeup, but you can't own these shops. You kind of just help out. So I guess our powerful protagonist can't instantly own every business, I guess. That said, the star boutique protagonist is the kind of young adult on a TED Talk telling you to just invest. Oh, look, a fancy apartment. How did you afford that? Oh, about that. None of this is real. This game kind of works on Toy Story logic. All these characters are canonically dolls in a dollhouse, but no, you're a regular human. But you can shrink down and grow to visit this doll world. Wait, are you earning real money or this doll world's money? Why does this happy doll world have economics and jobs and whatever? This is an old game intended for young girls. Moving on. I'm not quite sure why I didn't like this one as much. I guess part of my enjoyment of this franchise is being some fancy boutique owner taking on the fashion world itself. I kind of love the narrative of a random girl getting her chances in a job and just rising to the top, meeting new people and doing her best. But I guess I found fashion forward unsettling. I also need to complain about this one part of the game where the game introduces 2 very cool new mechanics, hairdressing and doing people's makeup. But how they introduce these cool mechanics and features, well, a girl who's obsessed with a friend of yours demands you make her look like her. Exactly like her. It just starts with outfits, which is fair. Try styles, who you like. But the circumstances lead you to giving her a haircut that is exactly like your friend. Oh, we aren't done yet, sweetie. Up next, you help forge a passport to steal her identity and take a plane to... No, you just do her makeup to look like your friend. But I just feel this part of the game made me not want to play the rest of it. I like this franchise's emphasis on creativity, trying new styles, finding your look, but yeah, this part of the game kind of bothered me. But as mentioned, hairdressing and makeup applying for customers is a very big new feature. I'm unsure how this young adult can do this without experience, but she can run a boutique and likely do 20 other things, so I'm going to run with it. Hairdressing in particular has lots of rooms for creativity, so I found that part of the game pretty fun. But I don't know if it's the art style, the vibe, the dollhouse thing, I don't know. But this is my least favorite one. But luckily, there's one more. Okay, so at this point, the franchise has seen a notable decline in sales. This can be reflected in this game not even getting a physical copy in America. But for once, PAL doesn't equal more expensive games online, so I got this entire franchise pretty cheap. But I will note, this was one of the most expensive ones for me to get. But I have it because Australians get to play it physically, I guess, but for American fans, I'm sure you could just play this game via means Nintendo ninjas don't want me to describe. So moving on. Style Boutique Styling Star. So you know the drill. New town, you take over a boutique despite your lack of work experience, you still can't date random flirty boys, the cycle continues. But a fun addition in this game focuses on idol culture. Your enjoyment of this game will depend on your interest in J-pop idol culture, to be honest. If you like Japanese fashion in particular, this one will likely be the one you'll enjoy the most. But you still can give customers all sorts of styles. This game has more outfits than real life has ever made. The main draw of this game is you also work as a professional fashion coordinator for a group of free idols as they work their way to the top. Which I love because this brings back the drive to be the best and express yourself back into the franchise but in a new way. This one I definitely need to play more of though. But I do love the unique challenges the early game presents to you. It really helps express the idols' personalities as well through their fashion requests. For example, one of the idols is from the countryside, in the big city to make it big. But obviously, unlike you, she isn't rich. So the game presents a unique challenge of giving her a perfect outfit for the interview within the literal strictest budget restriction I have seen in this entire franchise. I think this game just grabs everything from the other games and brings it together for a really wonderful package. I don't have much insight beyond that. This is very much a franchise that adds subtle changes each game but still delivers that core experience, even in the ones I don't like as much. Style Boutique / Style Savvy / Girls Mode, whatever you want to call it today, is a really cool franchise. Mixed in with the shovelware hidden away in the shelves, I think this franchise meant a lot to young gamers of the time who were given random girly looking games whenever their parents went shopping. This franchise can look very unassuming when you look at the box. If you've ever overlooked the franchise for how it looks, how it plays, or even just because it's girly, that's okay. But know that there is a really cool set of games that really make fashion fun. Many girly games before this, and to some extent even now, focus on the act of shopping by simply engaging with late-stage capitalism. But this isn't what is interesting about fashion. Fashion is about self-expression and fun. Style Boutique does an amazing job at being a game that portrays a very fantasy adult work life. It focuses on the fun parts of being an adult, expression and freedom. Out of all the games, my personal favorite is the very first game. But most likely because of that nostalgic connection I had as a trans kid, seeing a girly game on TV all the time, and needing to wait more than a decade to even play this game. It has been healing for me to try this franchise, and I felt something healing about playing as a girl in a time period I didn't get to express my gender openly. Engaging with very early 2000s fashion as a girl was wonderful. Luckily for me, 2000s fashion seemingly is very in right now, and has been becoming a bigger part of modern day fashion. Here is my tier list of Style Boutique. But know that I played all these games in under 1 year, which may have made my experience very different. Since series like Pokemon, it's very much a similar game each time, but with little adjustments. That I'd have loved the happiness jar from New Style Boutique to be in every entry. Sadly, the Nintendo Switch has not yet seen a Style Boutique game, nor Nintendogs, which is equally mean of Nintendo to not make. But Fashion Dreamer is an upcoming spiritual successor in a way to Style Boutique made by the same developer, just not published by Nintendo this time. We know basically nothing about what this game will really be, other than that it has fashion and you grow a social media brand instead of run a boutique. I hope this game evokes the feelings of freedom and self-expression, and also has themes of rising to the top. This game will likely reach a wider audience since you can actually play as a boy or a girl in this one. fingers crossed that it's not gender locked and non binary gamers can get in on the fun too. So, when you see big gaming news outlets trashing on this game when it releases, just remember this game may not please a mainstream core gamer demographic, but that doesn't mean it has less value as a game. Games are ultimately a fun hobby, and if you think Fashion Dreamer looks fun, I recommend giving it a try, even if it's out of the realm of your usual gaming outings. Even if this franchise will be overlooked by a mainstream gaming population, I guarantee so many gamers around the world have so many fond memories of games like this. Girliness doesn't make a game lesser, but if a game is shovelware, it's shovelware. Girliness is just a common scapegoat to bad games because of a long history of lack of understanding of what audiences even will want. And honestly, I think with fashion games, the key is an opportunity to express yourself, which gaming as a medium can do beautifully. I may have waited since 2008 to even play this game, but with all my heart, I'm so glad I finally got to try it. And I'm glad I could share that experience here. Thank you for watching, everyone. So, this part is the unscripted outro that seems to be in a lot of video essays. I've never made a video essay before, as you can probably tell. I haven't done the editing yet, and I do not know how that's gonna go. I hope I do an okay job. So, here's the thing. Video essays are always like that thing that like I didn't think much of, and I would just listen to them while I eat my food. I didn't realize how much actually goes into making one of these. Um, this is completely out of my ballpark, so I hope you enjoyed it regardless. But if you have any like commonly overlooked games, why don't you tell me about it? Who knows? I might find something like really cool. Um, as for if I'll do another one of these, I think that depends on how much fun I have editing it. Viewer wise, I don't think this would do very well because it's like the first one for a niche series, but we'll have to see. This is actually recorded a day before Marvelous's game showcase, which is probably when they're going to announce the release date. So in about a day-ish, I get to find out how fast I have to make this video. Yeah, I hope they don't shadow drop it. Oh, that'd be such a pain to edit in time for the shadow drop. That said though, thanks for watching, you know? This is really fun actually. I don't know, like I guess if I did another one, I'd want to do it on like those like PS2 Buzz games, maybe, like Jungle Party, because I don't think there's a single video essay about that game. So, suppose I'll give that a try. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.